There's something I've never told anyone about my high school, something I still don't fully understand. It's not that the place looked strange at first glance, but there are moments when I felt I wasn't alone, even when everyone else had gone home. The empty hallways, the lights turned off. Something was watching me, even though I couldn't see what it was. I couldn't tell if it was real or if my mind was playing tricks on me. Very few people can make it to the end of a story like this without skipping parts. If you think you can, subscribe and leave a like right now. Let's see if you're really brave. Because what happened that afternoon changed everything I thought I knew about that place. And I still don't know if I'll ever be able to explain it. It started after detention on a Tuesday. I had been late to the last class, and the teacher made me stay behind until everyone else had left. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal. I was used to empty halls at the end of the day. But that day felt different. The silence wasn't just quiet. It was heavy, almost tangible, pressing down on me. As I walked toward the empty classroom, I sat at my desk and tried to focus on my notes, but I couldn't. Every creak of the wooden floorboards sounded too loud. Every flicker of the fluorescent light seemed like it was marking some strange rhythm. I kept glancing at the door, expecting to hear the janitor's footsteps or see someone else entering, but nothing. Just the echo of my own movements bouncing back at me from the walls. Time passed slower than it ever had before. My heartbeat seemed to sync with the hum of the overhead lights. I told myself I was imagining things. Maybe my mind was exaggerating, filling the empty space with shadows where there were none. But then I felt it, the sensation that someone was standing just beyond my peripheral vision. Every time I looked straight ahead, the feeling disappeared. But I could feel it, like a weight pressing against the back of my mind, making my skin crawl. I tried to shake it off. I opened my notebook, scribbled some notes, anything to occupy my thoughts. But I couldn't concentrate. Every so often, the lights would flicker more than usual, casting long, sharp shadows that didn't belong to anything in the room. I told myself it was just the old wiring. That didn't stop the creeping sensation that something was moving just outside my line of sight. Then I heard it. A soft, barely audible shuffle from the hallway. I froze. My pencil hovered over the page. The sound stopped as suddenly as it started. I told myself it was probably nothing. Just a branch hitting the window or the building settling. But then it came again. Closer this time. Steps. Not heavy, but deliberate. Slow. Calculated. I wanted to call out, but my voice wouldn't work. My throat felt tight. Frozen. I could only watch the door, hoping it was my imagination. Hoping I'd turn around and see nothing there. But the feeling, it wouldn't let me believe that. I rose slowly from my chair, telling myself I'd check the hallway. Every nerve in my body screamed at me to stay put, but I couldn't. I walked to the door, hand trembling on the handle. I opened it just a crack. The hallway stretched out, dark and silent, the fluorescent lights flickering intermittently above. My reflection in the glass of the classroom door made it seem like there was someone else. I stepped into the hallway. My shoes made soft echoes on the floor. I took a slow, careful step forward, then another. Each time I moved, the feeling of being watched grew stronger. It was like invisible eyes following me, tracking my every movement. I reached the first corner and paused. My heart felt like it was going to burst from my chest. I told myself again, it's just your imagination. There's no one here. And then I heard it. A soft whisper, too faint to make out the words, but I knew someone had said something. My stomach twisted. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't cooperate. It felt like the floor had turned to cement, holding me in place. I spun around, desperate to find the source. The hallway was empty, just like before. But the whisper came again, closer this time. My breath came in short, rapid gasps. I felt a chill crawl up my spine as I realized the sound was coming from every direction at once, surrounding me. I wanted to leave. I tried to turn and sprint back to the classroom, but my feet wouldn't move. Panic surged through me. I could feel my pulse in my temples, loud and insistent. I closed my eyes for a moment, trying to calm myself, to convince myself I was overreacting. But then I felt it, a shadow brushing past my shoulder, just at the edge of my vision. I spun, and the hallway was empty, nothing. But I knew. Reaching the far end of the hallway, I saw the stairwell leading to the upper floors. The lights there were off completely. Darkness swallowed it like a mouth, waiting to swallow me whole. I hesitated, every instinct screaming at me to turn back. But some strange, irresistible force pushed me forward. I climbed the stairs slowly. Each step groaned beneath me. I could feel it, the presence growing stronger, more certain. It was like the shadows themselves were alive, shifting, moving to surround me. My mind raced with every horror story I'd ever heard, about abandoned schools or people staying behind after hours. None of them prepared me for this. At the top of the stairs, the corridor stretched out. Empty classrooms on either side. Doors closed, windows dark. I paused near one of the doors, listening. Nothing. Just silence. But the silence was alive, waiting. Then a faint creak behind me made me spin around. Nothing. I wanted to laugh at myself for being so paranoid, but I couldn't. The hair on my arm stood on end. I continued down the hall, my steps tentative. Every shadow seemed to twitch at the edge of my vision. I could hear soft breathing now, not mine, not human, but something else. Something patient, watching, waiting. I reached the door of the last classroom. I could see my reflection in the glass, but this time, I swear, there was something else in it. Something behind me, just barely visible, not quite formed. My stomach twisted, my breath caught in my throat. I wanted to run, to scream, to escape, but my legs refused to cooperate. I backed away slowly, trying not to take my eyes off the reflection. And then it moved. Just a flicker, For what felt like hours, I stumbled through that maze of darkness and echoes, unable to escape. Every door I tried was locked, every window a wall. And always, that feeling of eyes on me, following me, waiting for me to falter. Finally, I found a small classroom with the door slightly ajar. I slipped inside, slammed the door, and collapsed. My body shook, my chest heaving. Silence for a moment at least. Then, a soft whisper. My name. I froze. My eyes darted around the room. Nothing. The windows showed only darkness. The door was closed, but the air felt thick, charged with something I couldn't see but could feel. I don't know how long I stayed there, crouched in that classroom, listening to the shadows breathe around me. Eventually, I forced myself to move, to escape. I slipped out when the hallway was empty, or at least it seemed to be. I ran down the stairs, down the main hall, out into the empty parking lot. The cool night air hit my face, and for the first time that evening, I could breathe. I told myself I would never come back after hours. I told myself it was over. But even now, when I walk past those empty halls, I feel it. Watching. Waiting. Just beyond the corner of my vision. And the worst part, I know I wasn't imagining it.